welcome folks to another Points of Interest, our Dronecast here, and we have a brand new co-host today, Justin.
Hey, how you doing?
He's just keeping the seat warm for Prac. Prac is on assignment out there somewhere, and so he'll be back, but we're really lucky to have Justin today, and we've got a great interview to share with you today, coming up in just a few minutes, and we've got a new segment coming up too about cool drone stuff. So sit back and relax and enjoy Points of Interest. Exploring the people, places, and technology in the growing drone industry. This is the Points of Interest Dronecast. Hey, thanks again for joining us for another episode of Points of Interest. And once again, we have Justin with us.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, thanks for being here,
Absolutely,
buddy.
definitely. Pleasure.
Justin was with us all week long. We had some fun. We went to, we went to 2 different places. We went to drone camp, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
First time at summer camp in more years than I'll admit.
Yeah, one time in drone camp. Anyway, we drones weren't even around when we were young, but we wish that would have been a great thing to do.
I would have definitely signed up.
And it was a lot of fun to join the guys. I went to Hampton for the Drone Academy there, the Aviation and Drone Academy, which is really a cool thing put together. And Julie.young is the person behind it, so we do the interview with her. But I went to Hampton, and you went to?
VMI, which was a return to my old stomping grounds.
That's cool. That's a great place.
It was super fun.
And you were a cadet, what years?
So I matriculated fall of 99, and I'm part of the class of 2003.
Cool. Well, you got to visit your old stomping grounds, see the cadets.
Yeah.
You know, I even saw you captured a picture of somebody with their backpack that had Phelps on the back of it.
Yeah, so it was really interesting. They had 50 high schools roughly all the way from Washington proper down through Southern Virginia, and one of the high schools actually was Phelps High School.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Named after you, of course.
Of course,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Anyway, so let's get into our interview and check out Julie.young. Hi, Julie.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
Oh, I'm glad to have you. So tell me a little bit about your camp.
Okay, well, we just finished this Friday afternoon, and we had a camp for 14 students. They were ages 10 to 14 years old. Some of them were very experienced in drones, and some of them it was a completely new thing for them, but they seemed to have a great time.
Well, how long have you been doing the ADA, as I call it, the Aviation and Drone Academy? How long?
Yeah, so I work at Aviation and Drone Academy, and we just started in January, so we opened the doors on January 1st. So previous to this, I worked at Virginia Peninsula Community College and started a drone program there. And I had been teaching there mechanical engineering for about 20 years. They asked me, you want to teach a drone class? And I just loved it. So I decided to leave mechanical engineering and just go out and do drones all the time. So I was fortunate enough to join a company. It's a small company. We do a lot of education, consulting, workforce development, and so we have a lot more flexibility in what we can offer, aside from the community college, because I can give a workforce development class in a short period of time. Like I taught a class at NASA. It just was 4 days, so 8 hours a day, 4 days a week. I could do drone camps. I teach online for other universities as well.
So where is this camp available?
We're right here at the Hampton Roads Executive Airport. And this is where our home base is, but we do go to other locations. We do a lot of business-to-business development. So the camp was here, which is really super fun because we're at an airport. And so there's all kinds of extra things that the students get. So we plan a bunch of drone activities, but there's a hangar here with World War I and World War II planes. So we have to tour that. There's also Army helicopters in town, Chinooks, that are getting training, so they got to check out those. And then they get to see just jets and airplanes taking off and landing all the time.
That's always fun for any age, right?
Yes, yeah.
Well, so can you tell me, you have another camp that you were part of this week.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me what you did there.
So we had a 5-day camp here for 14 students, but we also had a 2-day camp at VMI, Virginia Military Institute, in Lexington, and that was for 525 cadets. And so those were JROTC cadets. They were ninth grade to 11th grade, and they came from Maryland, Virginia, DC, and North Carolina.
And you taught more than drone, right?
We did, yeah. So we started with drones in action, and we had a circuit that we went there. We had a programming station, a robotics station, and a 3D printing station.
Sure. Now, most of the people that watch our show are drone people. So they're going to be interested in the drones that you use. And you don't use really the everyday, well, there were some DJIs here, but tell us about the other drones that you're using.
Okay, so depending on where they are, we start with a Tello drone. So it is made by DJI, about $159. They're pretty durable. They are programmable, so you can set that up and do that. The propellers fall off, the prop guards fall off, but we use them over and over again. So we just teach them how a drone works, talk about basic aerodynamics, the propellers go the opposite way and how flight goes. But from there, we are able to talk about, flying, basic flight skills, and we always have all kinds of obstacle courses. One fun thing we do is we set up, it's like PVC pipe, and there's a ping pong ball on top of it, and they like to fly over it, and the idea is to knock it off without knocking off the pipe, knocking it over, so that's super fun. All kinds of obstacle courses. We do that inside and outside. So outside we fly a Mini 2, Mini 3, Mini 3 Pro is kind of all the more we want kids to do. But we try to get people to come in and demonstrate. So thank you for coming this week and doing some larger drone demonstrations.
Tell me about the kit one that they actually get to take home.
Yeah. So our camp includes, at the airport, it includes a build your own drone camp kit, and it looks like Legos. It's not made by Legos, but they can reconfigure it so it's all taken apart. They learn how to connect the battery and propellers, propeller guards, and they can build whatever shape they want. And then in that they learn about like center of gravity and making it symmetric from side to side, which I'm an engineer by nature, so that's kind of important to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
And because again, this is droners and probably a lot of parents. If they were able to join this, what is the roundabout cost for getting into your camp?
Oh, so a 5-day camp all day is $325. So that includes the cost of the kit. It's very moderately priced.
They got some T-shirts, I think.
Oh, yeah, some T-shirts.
Good looking
right?
shirt. Yeah, so there's perks in there too.
Yeah.
Kids have a good time.
And food. Got to keep them happy with some snacks.
Sure. And it's all the camps are a week long?
We do have one next week for a younger age group because I get asked by all kinds of ages, like, can we send our kid to camp? So next week is a 3-day week because of the holiday, so we're just doing a 3-day camp. It's for 9 to 12-year-olds, so kind of broken it down to a smaller age group because, well, they're very interested in drones, but then they're not very interested for very long, is what happens to it. So that'll be.
How many camps are you going to be doing this year?
We have 3 at the airport that we're running, and we had a spring break camp. But we're offering camps at all different locations. So I also work with some other, like I do contract work for other people. I'm teaching at Hampton University. We're doing a camp there, and they build a $1,000 drone kit.
Wow!
It's really cool, and they actually solder it together, and yeah, that'll be super fun. I do that. I also work with the Department of Aging Rehabilitation Services, DARS, and we offer camps for students that are part of that program, and that's super rewarding. I love that. I have one of those camps next week as well. And then some parks and recreations call us and contract us out. So little by little, we've been doing more and more camps. We like to have them at the airport, but we're happy to go to someone else's site and do it.
That sounds neat. I'll have to bring you to Richmond.
Okay, I would love to. And
So-
the funny thing about some of our camps, our spring break camp, we had 2 dads that asked if they could have their own camp, like a dad's drone camp.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a great idea.
I know.
Right. Oh my gosh, yeah. More adults come to me to learn how to fly drones, typically, and they are adults and dads, So that's a
Yeah.
great idea. So tell me, what do you think the future now with ADA? It obviously is a wonderful idea. It just started this last year, here since January. But what do you guys see as the future?
I have been teaching as a dual enrollment teacher, so I developed the classes at Virginia Peninsula with some help of others. And then so I can go to local schools and set them up to have dual enrollment. So this past year I taught at a high school, Tab High School, and I had 15 students in there, and they got their Part 107. They got 6 credits from the community college. They learned how to do manual flight planning and things like that. In the fall, we're also at New Horizons Regional School System, and that's in Newport News, but it's for the whole peninsula. And there they will earn 18 credits, so the whole entire career studies certificate from Virginia Peninsula Community College. And so they'll learn to get their Part 107, manual flight, autonomous flight, how to build a drone and repair it, because that's really important. They'll also learn photography and videography with the drone. And then there's one elective class that we haven't decided which one that'll be. So our goal is to help people get started in their program. So it's a great STEM tool. I've always loved getting students involved in STEM, no matter what age it is. And so it's one thing that attracts people to it, and they can do it. And then I find that most schools aren't comfortable starting that on their own. So if we could go out, and our idea is to go out, set up a model, get them started, tell them what they need to get started, and kind of grow it at different locations is kind of what we plan on doing.
This is a great program. I'm hoping it just sails. But how can people get in touch with you or the company to get on board?
Okay, yes. So our website is up, so you can go to www.flyairmobility.com.
We'll be putting that right on the screen right now.
Okay.
In front of you.
And then I'm always available by email, Julie.young at flyairmobility.com.
Fantastic. And do you have a favorite drone? This is a standard question I usually ask people in my interview.
My favorite drone is the Mini 3 Pro, because it's just so easy. It's lightweight. You can take it everywhere, and takes great videos. When it came out over the Mini 2, then it had the screen, and you could see it out in the sunshine. So that's my favorite one. It's real easy to fly.
It is fun. It's one of, and you can put it in your pocket and take it somewhere.
Exactly.
I just went to Greece, and I took mine with me to Greece, and literally just had it in a little backpack. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
Pull it out and fly it when I could. So I know you've only the camps are somewhat new, but has there been a highlight for you, kids graduating and doing anything special that really touched your heart?
Oh, I do have a great story about that. So last summer when I did a DARS camp, one of the young women in our class, because the girls usually do the best, honestly, she stood out to us that she had some real skills. And so when she finished the camp, I talked to her mom, and I was like, I think she's got something going on here. And I said, where's she going to go to high school? And so it ended up she was going to the same high school I was going to be teaching at. And she was not given the chance to take that dual enrollment college class. They didn't offer it to her. And so I said, put me in touch with her advisor, and we're going to get her in the class. So she went from that camp last summer, and then she has her Part 107, and she does flights, and she's actually volunteering doing realty.
That's
so
awesome.
That's like a life-changing
And probably very
moment.
young in high school, you said.
Oh yeah, she's just like she just graduated from high school this year. Yeah.
You got a Part 107. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Julie, thank you so much for being with us and letting us interview you for our Points of Interest show. And I hope that we run into you soon, because this is a great concept, and I want to see it grow. And I want to come back and you tell us more.
Oh yeah, you're welcome to come, and thank you for bringing your equipment to camp this week. The students love it.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Julie, and it was a short interview, but she had some great stuff to say. But tell me about your experience there.
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously got a lot of cool stuff going on with the Aviation and Drone Academy, and actually, so Julie and the Aviation Drone Academy had been kind of subcontracted to facilitate 2 days of what ultimately was a 6-day JROTC camp.
Right, and I was I only went to 2 days of a 5-day camp.
Right.
Yeah.
So she facilitated all 4 sections of that STEM rotation. Like she said, she did the drones, which of course was our point of interest.
Right.
Yeah. But then 3D mapping, robotics, facial recognition, coding, and programming. And then those cadets also go back out to leadership training, rappelling, military style drill, things like that. So it was very interesting for me to both be like right in it with my drones and stuff that I like, but also like working with some of the ranking officers and recognizing their rank and things like that. It was really neat.
That would be neat for you.
Yeah.
Now, you're a new Part 107 guy, too.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
How long have you had now? Just a few months?
Yeah. So we're right on about 3 months. Been flying drones for, about 6-7 years, and really buckled down in January of this year.
Sure.
Took one of the courses that are available. We won't plug anybody, but...
Well, this is a chance to plug. What's the name of your company?
So my company is Above the Rest Digital Imaging.
Right.
Yep, right
That's
here in
cool.
Richmond. Dutchman.
And we'll put that in the description
Perfect.
information here
Yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube, so you can get in touch with Justin because he's doing great stuff and helping me. And you know, that's kind of been fun. We've been working together. And Justin, if I may tell, has a girlfriend who's also a drone pilot and kind of a friend of the show as well. So
She's also been on one of your drone casts.
That's
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. Kim
Kimberly
Merswa.
Yeah. Yep. So it's great. It's kind of a family of us together that have trying to pull this whole thing up to the next level.
Well, and that's kind of the cheesy part. You know the story too, but you know, Kim and I originally connected at VMI.
Right.
She lives in Lexington.
It's a big circle.
20 years later, we were into drones and had no idea,
And
so we circled right back.
You were back there doing this camp thing.
Yeah, together.
Yeah.
And she even commented a couple times it was weird to be walking across VMI grounds together, right?
That's-
Like first time in
See,
decades.
it's a very small world, and then, you know, you just really never know.
Never know. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, listen, let's get into our first news story today.
Yeah,
You ready?
absolutely. So
Hold on. So we're back and we're ready for our news. And guess what? You've got 2 news stories. I've got none. I'm doing the other portion, the news segment. But tell us our news stories.
So we got 2 news stories. One is definitely a very hot topic with all of us droners and drone enthusiasts, whether you're doing it for fun or professionally. We're all paying attention to the drone ban issue.
We've had several episodes just about it.
Just about it. So finally, we've got 2 reps in the House of Representatives that have actually finally made an official call to Washington to declassify what it is that are the supposed security risks associated, not just with DJI, but Chinese drones,
Sure.
as the verbiage reads.
And that was written into the bill, which I'm really thankful for. Somebody had enough understanding that we need to look into this a little further before we really chop
Just
the head
accept
off
that
of
there's
DJI.
a classified security risk.
Right.
So Mark Green of Tennessee and Kathy Rogers of Washington State have officially asked Washington to declassify that information, show us the proof, tell me what it is that is the security risk.
Sure.
And they've actually asked for that response by the 2nd of July of this year. So
Oh, that's cool.
We should maybe see something about
Just
this
before
next
my
week.
birthday.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
Wow. And before America's birthday as
Yeah,
well.
that's that one too.
Speaking of America's birthday, we did something the other week, and we'll be putting some clips up. We went and there was a fireworks show, not on the 4th of July, but last week, and he flew his Avata literally right through the sparks.
Yeah.
And I was kind of doing the wide shot, but we're going to put some of that footage up here shortly because it was fun.
That's another time, Mershwa, you and me all flew together.
All 3 of us were out there droning together, but that was awesome. And that's our first news story. I'm glad to hear it. Matter of fact, I just want to point this out. We have an interview coming up next week that I'm going to do with a guy who's probably the most infamous guy on the internet about drones because he's funny. He has great information, but he has some of the most entertaining webcasts out there, and his name is Ken Herron. And Ken is, he had a guy on his show, which I might ask Ken if we could just borrow the segment, who talked the most sense about the whole DJI thing. The guy's very educated about it. He's got an inside line. And he really explained, and I'm not going to try to go into it too deeply because I would be kidding myself if I really know what I'm talking about. But basically, if you have already built the drone, you are now grandfathered.
Right.
Right. If they're going to build any new models, that'll have to go through all of the particular security points to make sure it passes and can be sold. in
Which
the US.
is actually, unbeknownst to you, a perfect segue into our next news story.
News story 2.
So, we've actually finally seen some official photos leaked of what DJI is maybe going to call an Air 3S.
Okay.
Probably not an Air 4 if you get to looking at it. It definitely fits the same form factor as the Air 3.
Okay.
It looks to still have 2 cameras on the front. They've got
Did you know what makes something go from a 3 to a 4? Does it have to change radically?
So typically, if we look at the history of DJI's release, if the form factor doesn't physically change, for example, even though it's got tape all over it and everything on the pictures, it is almost carbon copy to the Air 3 body, right? Like there's no new sensors,
Right.
there's no physical change.
Mostly
to,
hardware changes?
So yeah, the big 2 that they're speculating are camera. with a focus moving to the camera. Hopefully we'll get back to that 1-inch sensor that everybody thought the 3 was going to release with.
Right.
Obviously, they've got it in some of their other lines, the Air 2S, even some of the Mini Pros now have the 1-inch CMOS sensor. They went with the 1/1/3 on the Air 3. We definitely expect to see the 1-inch sensor come in, possibly integrate that true vertical shooting that they've been doing on some of their minis and stuff like that.
Which is fun if you're Instagram kind of guy.
Exactly. So for the people who are doing it, it's a great mid-range drone. So if you're an influencer, streamer, or anything like that, they're hoping for some improvements on the omnidirectional sensor, but it does not. You can physically see there is not sensors added to the top, like on more like the Mavic 3 Pro line.
Side sensors and things like that.
But like you were saying, it fits not only their release schedule that they've done in typical years past. The Air 2 and 2S were 13 months apart in release.
Okay.
Things like that. They also had a press announcement early in the year that so far, like the Avata 2 fit their Q2 release.
Okay.
They're talking about a July-August release in that schedule, and then they expect a Q4, which would probably be next month.
I would assume this is maybe based on or not based on the new security risks.
So that's the thing. If they get it out before any of that comes in, she's
They're good.
grandfathered in.
Oh,
Exactly.
wow.
So all that fits. So
Sure.
we're probably looking at like a July-August release for
Very good.
what will either be an Air 3S or
Very
maybe an Air 4. But
Yep, and if you're out there and you haven't done this, I mentioned, I think, on the last show, the latest updates on all the DJI drones have removed the sync. So you make sure you go back and go update your drones. I know some of us are bad about that. Some drones I keep updated because I have to. Other ones, they kind of sit on the shelf for a long time, and then I go, oh, I better do something to this one. Update your drones. Well, I've got 16, I think, drones. It's a little harder some days. But regardless, get that one updated, whatever you're flying right now, because they've removed the sync. That is the only security risk that anyone has even said is a possibility.
Correct.
Right?
That's what we, all of the, whether it's Drone Geek, political stuff, whatever you look at,
Sure.
pretty much assumes that DJI did that in a preemptive move
Sure.
to satisfy the
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to clarify that I got nervous about when your email says DJI Sync's turned off.
Right.
We're not going to log your flights anymore. Wait, what? So you still have access to all of your flights. It
Information.
still tracks all of your flights for you.
Right.
It just doesn't back it up to
Sure.
a Chinese server anymore.
Sure, and I think maybe one of the upcoming shows we'll talk about some of the other companies that
Allow you to do that.
Provide that. Yeah,
Correct.
so it's a good thing to have.
Good. I'll
Especially-
watch that one because I don't know where I'm going to go.
Yeah, well, actually, what we'll do is we'll call one of those companies and have them on the show.
Perfect.
So, all right, good news stories. Let's go to our newest segment. Everybody loves cool drone stuff, sometimes accessories, sometimes new gear. So we've got a brand new segment called Cool Drone Stuff. All right, so we're going to try to do this every week. I've got a shelf over there of all kinds of parts and pieces that I bought off of Amazon, 3D printed stuff. Prac is a creator of that kind of stuff, engineer, and I found a really cool one. So if you ever use, and a lot of us still use some Phantoms that I use for my mapping, RTK, and things like that. Well, one of the problems with this is getting in and out these larger iPads. They just don't fit right. You got to cram them in there.
And even when it's crammed in there, it doesn't
you're breaking either the drone holder there because it's got some. You can see that's coming off. Well, somebody smarter than me, came along and said, "Hey, what if we just made this thing that just slid on?" It gave it another 2 or 3 inches there. So we put the iPad on. Now we slide this back down. It's still secure. Gives you all of that you had, and that thing is ready to go, and without the struggle from before. And it's a really cute piece. It's only it's less than $10. It's on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description down below. Check it out. But that's one of our little cool gear stuff, cool drone stuff. And so we just wanted to kind of show you that today. And we'll do one every week. And if you've got an idea out there, this is
exactly that.
Yeah.
If you've got any cool drone gear you found out there, because we constantly will show up and He'll pull something out of the car. I'll pull something out of the car, and it's, man, that's cool. Where did you find that?
Yeah, next week I'll have to do that sun cover that you and Kim came up with, and I saw and I said, I got to have one of those.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
on the internet in 3 seconds buying mine. So.
And I mean, they're so handy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff out there. Send us your ideas, and we'll feature those on upcoming shows. And, well, that's going to do it for this show. I want to thank Justin for coming in here.
Thanks for asking me,
Awesome.
definitely.
Yep, had your
Been a
daughter
pleasure.
Amy is with us, too.
Yeah. Amy's hanging out in the studio.
Hey, Amy.
Silent wave.
Silent wave from her. But anyway, hey, listen, thanks again. We'll see you on the next episode of Points of Interest.